guys, we need to recognize that if we're talking about length, that the distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a note here. The people who used the distance formula had a harder time on this assessment. And they did not do as well as the people who used the other method. What was the other method we could have used?
Pythagorean theorem.
Meaning that c squared is equal to?
A squared plus b squared.
And then some people did very well with the distance squared is the change in x squared plus the change in y squared. Any of those would work, but you need to have something to find your distance. Is that clear? And a lot of us need to stay neater with our work. Your test tomorrow is spread out over 3 pages, but that is because I very intentionally put a lot of space for you to be able to show your work tomorrow. Okay, so it is super spread out, so you have a lot of space to put your work. And you will have the graph paper as well. One thing I do want to point out, because I saw this on several people's assessments, if I want the length from G all the way to F, then I'm going to draw what shape? What kind of shape to help me?
Rectangle.
So this would be what we draw for slope as well, but what shape did I just draw?
A right angle.
A right triangle, because hey guys, what do I have to use Pythagorean theorem?
Or a triangle.
Right triangle, okay? So pay attention to that. I drew a right triangle for that entire piece. And you can even put those arrows here to help you with slope, right? So doing that one thing helps you with both distance and with slope. How far is this going up? 9. So positive 9. How far is it going to the left? So negative 5, right? It's to the left. So when I come down here for my slope, and you could label it as FG. Is that FG? Yeah. The slope, or so there's FG, but what symbol should I always put for slope?
Y was mixed with b.
Is that whole thing slope?
No.
Just M. Remember, Joey, what you said is the slope-intercept form of a line. I'm just looking for slope. How do we calculate slope?
Change the x over change the y.
What's the first way you learned it, Joey?
Rise over y.
Okay. If it's rising, is that x or is that y? That's your x variable right here?
I don't know.
Well, Joey, if you look up and down, which axis is it?
Y.
So up and down is y. So the rise is the change in y.
So we're changing that.
So notice I have line segment FG. I have M equals. I've written out my slope formula. The rise is 9. The run is negative 5. There's my slope for FG. We good with that? That's all you have to do. Now, I will point out that if you just have one negative, you can bring it out in front if you want. I know some people feel more comfortable with the negative there. We good with that detail? Yes, no, maybe so? Thank you. In a similar way, I don't know why we're talking when we struggle so much on this understanding check. Remember, you can do distance this way. D sub FG, distance between F and G. Okay? Or if you want, just label it as FG, and I would do distance squared or C squared is equal to, what's the first side of that right triangle? 9 squared, right? Do I ever need the negative when calculating distance?
No.
No. That only matters for slope. It doesn't matter for distance. Pay attention to that. A whole lot of us got these wrong because we put negative. If you put the negative, you've got to remember to put parentheses around it. And I saw a lot of people get to this point or get to the 106, but what do we have to remember to do for that distance? Take a square root. So, what's the distance between FG? Square root of 106. Comfy with that idea? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. I will say that I would do this all the way around, right? Down 2 to the left 4. Notice that slope. And you can show your work here as well. Please don't leave that as negative 2 divided by negative 4. Pick up the calculator and just check yourself. What is negative 2 divided by negative 4?
1 over 2.
It's what?
1 over 2.
The calculator will fully simplify it for you. Take that time to put it into the calculator and simplify it. It will help you, I promise. Okay? Now, these are the values I need for the distance. So GH, distance squared is equal to, I can do the negative 4 squared plus negative 2 squared, or just make them positive. So the distance is the square root of 20. Now, if you check yourself, JF also has a distance for the square root of 20. JH, please note I am not showing the work for it because we got to move. So you see how these two sides are congruent? And these two sides are congruent? It's looking pretty good that this is a what? Parallelogram. And if you check JH, the slope is also negative 9/5. GH, the slope is 1/2. And JF, the slope is 1/2. Is that evidence that it's a parallelogram?
Yes.
100%. You know what most people told me this was, though?
What?
A rectangle.
Oh. Yeah.
It looks like a rectangle, doesn't it?
I thought at first, I'm sure.
But look at those slopes. If remember, opposite sides are parallel, the slopes are the same. But if the adjacent sides are perpendicular, then what are the slopes? They're opposites and reciprocals. Hold on one second. Look at those slopes. Are they opposites and reciprocals? Negative 9/5 and a positive 1/2. Are they opposites and reciprocals? No. So is this a rectangle?
No.
It's just a parallelogram.
You said that you said rectangle. Rectangle isn't even an option.
I know. I'm aware.
That's what I was confused about.
Okay. Please notice, though, if you're going to make a claim, you got to have the evidence for it. But these are the 4 main things you got to think about. You need to show the calculations as well, and be careful. Some of us miss problems just because we didn't count correctly. Legitimately. And so please notice, like, these are the notes that I created. So if you want a copy of my solutions, I'll be more than happy to give them to you. Do notice how I used the arrows to show what's going up and down, left and right, unlike a lot of us. We got to be careful about this. All right, last quick detail here. B to C. Remember, when it's a vertical line like this, you can just count it. B to C was 12. If you look from A to C, I think, was that 6 or 8? That's 8.
One was 8, and the other was 6.
So if I want the distance for AC, is that what I'm looking at? Yeah. D squared is equal to 8 squared plus 6 squared. Notice how writing out my formula helps me not make mistakes. What's my last step to solve for distance? The distance is 10. So that's for AC, and now I still need AB. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Show me how you're getting there. any of those sides the same?
No.
No. So the triangle is scaling. But you would need to actually show me the evidence. Those are the distances for each of those. Okay, none of those distances are the same, so this triangle is scaling. But this is where students made a lot of mistakes, right here. Describe the triangle as acute, obtuse, or right. What did we need to compare to determine if it was
The
acute?
angle.
Well, we don't have the angle. We had to use the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, we compared c squared to a squared plus b squared. If they are equal, what kind of triangle do we have?
Right.
A right triangle. If c squared was greater than a squared plus b squared, remember that means that the biggest side is really big,
Oh, so that's obtuse.
so that's an obtuse triangle.
And the other one's acute.
And if c squared is less than a squared plus b squared, it is... And how do we know what c is? It is the biggest, all day, every day. So which of these sides is the biggest? The 12, right? If you weren't sure about the square root of 52, put it in the calculator. The square root of 52 is like 7 something, 7 point something. So I'm going to compare 12 squared to 10 squared plus the square root of 52 squared. Put in the calculator. What's 12 squared?
144.
144. What's 10 squared?
100.
100. And the square, the square root of 52 squared? Hey guys, really quickly, because this will make your life easy. Square roots and squares are inverses, so they just cancel each other out. It's 52.
12 squared is more.
144 is more than 100 plus 52?
I didn't know you had to add them.
You have to add them. 144 is less than the sum of those two, so what kind of triangle are we looking at?
Acute.
That's what you gotta do. Okay. So, I still see some of us who haven't written down any notes to help improve our understanding, which doesn't make any sense to me, because I am literally telling you, there is going to be problems like this on your test. Yes, Maddie. Quick show of hands, who wants my solutions? Okay then. I guess the better question is, who doesn't want my solutions?
Oh.
Good talk, alright.
Looks like everything.
What happened?
Hey, really quick note, I will say this. Y'all probably haven't looked at it before, and because it's the day before, I'll go ahead and give them to you. You know, after I go over it, I put the solutions on Schoology, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Hold up! Whoa! Why y'all packing? You must be outside your mind. We got 3.5 minutes. Respect my time. Sit down. What? Alright. Excuse me. I know that it sounds crazy when I say I got 3.5 minutes, but your learning matters. So, I'm printing out these solutions. I'll have them to you in a second.
What's up, Connor?
What?
Disinfectant white.
No, why?
What
What happened?
I got stuck by this. Being stupid.
No,
I got stuck by this. Piggy got stuck. He go Tommy.
You can get a,
Tommy.
there's that, but I also have Band-Aids come back. I'll do this dumb stuff. Just, hey, I'll take care of it. Alright. Please stop. I meant to get here earlier, but clearly we needed some practice with writing the equations of lines and things like that. I will put solutions for these practice problems on Schoology. I will put them in today's folder if you do some practice. I'll make sure I put that up before I leave school, so it will be up there by 3:30, okay? So, there will be solutions for these problems on Schoology today. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So you need to practice doing distance and calculating slopes and finding or classifying your figures from that. And those are the practice problems that you have in your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Annual Veterans Day program will be next Thursday, November 5th at 9 a.m. If you are interested in related programs to veterans, please feel free to come by. The fishing team has meetings today at 5:30 p.m. in the library. There are now 52 days until.
My head still feels like a spin.
And remember, Pat, have a good day. Or not.
Alright, here are my solutions for the understanding check. Guys, y'all are freaking out. We got 60 seconds left. I'll let y'all finish earlier than I ever have.
It's calculating to the last second. 60 seconds is early.
Anybody else want? Hey guys. Solutions. It's like I'm giving out free candy.
Oh, yeah, he went to,
It's not a creepy way.
he went to.
Anybody else need solutions?
How you got an 8? Y'all need to put that, put that grade in. You got a higher grade.
Oh.